So Make AI agents just came out, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you how they work, how you can implement them within your existing operations, your existing automations with minimal effort. And then I'll be telling you why I'm not going to be using them at all. I currently have a little under 40 active automations within my agency. I've built hundreds of automations. I even have a custom uh, extension that I created for my agency. And so I've been doing this stuff for a while, and I couldn't find a use case that really works well for me. And so an example of what these AI agents can do is if we're going to be doing a chatbot format, which there's many different ways that you can use an AI agent. You can use it for customer support. You can use it as an email management agent that looks at all of your emails, categorizes them, does all of these different things. You can use it in many different ways, but what we're going to be focusing on today is the chat function. And so this is an example of what we said here. So what is Noel Maniraguha's email? And so it doesn't actually know who Noel Maniraguha is. And so it asks, please provide the website associated with Noel Maniraguha to retrieve his email address. And then I said, this is the website. And then it went out and found the email address. And so if you've used ChatGPT, you would know that ChatGPT is not able to do something like this for you because ChatGPT doesn't have access to additional tools. And so a tool that we're using, for example, let's go into the automation. We're using Lead Magic. We're using Hunter. We're using Prospeo. We can use any different tool. And by the way, it can access our project management tools. It can access our email tools. It can access pretty much everything that we do internally. And so this is stuff that ChatGPT would otherwise not have access to. But because it had access to this information, it was able to find that. Another question I asked, how many tasks do I have? Oh, this was actually an error. I'll be walking you guys through how to fix these potential errors. But I asked it again, how many tasks do I have? And then it told me you have the following tasks for HubSpot, boom, 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 and this is that. And we can even make the questions more nuanced. How many overdue tasks do I have? How many tasks do I have today? How many tasks did I complete yesterday? How many tasks have I completed this month? How many tasks has my teammate completed? How many tasks, as you can imagine, the questions are infinite. And so, what an AI agent really allows you to do is have unstructured data. And actually, I'm not even going to be able to explain it, but let's dive into like how this stuff works, and then I'll be showing you the better solution in my personal opinion. So one is we basically want to create an AI agent, and we're also going to be using make module. So this is what you're going to be looking for: make AI agents, and then you could just do run agent, right? And so when you do that, it's going to give you the option to create an agent. And so you could just go ahead and create an agent. By the way, you can also create an agent by just navigating to the AI agents tab over here. Okay, so we created an agent. There's a few things that are going on here. We've got the additional tools. So additional tools are basically different scenarios. So these are going to be other scenarios that you can access with your agent. And so this is what that looks like. By the way, in order for you to be able to access these automations, you need to switch the schedule setting from at regular intervals every day, whatever, to on demand. So it needs to be on demand. That way it can access the scenario anytime. Next up is the thread ID. And so this is to help us remember, this is to help us help this bot remember the previous conversations. And so when we go into this, for example, please provide the website associated with Noel Maniraguha's. It's remembering that I asked the previous question, which is Noel Maniraguha's email, and it can remember 10 messages before, 20 messages before, but you have to set up that setting. Let me show you where you set that up. So when you go into the actual agent, and so if we were to go from here, you would just click on the configuration over here. And so when you go into the AI agent settings, you're able to determine what this agent is. This one, I just called it a personal assistant agent. But you are also able to set up the agent settings. And so what I'm talking about, the memory, this is what it would be. So iteration from history count, this is one message back. You could do 10 messages back, 100 messages back. but you don't really want to do like that many. So 10 is usually the normal amount that you want. And so boom, we've got the memory created, and then you basically have some instructions, right? And so this is what I basically said. When someone asks for a task, just run oh yeah, run when tasks are requested. So like when the task is requested, just run it. When an email is requested, only run if both the full name and website are provided. Otherwise, request the missing info from the user. And so it could basically take unstructured data, so anything that we have in our system, so any types of questions that we would expect, and then do take those into different scenarios, right? And so here's the message. That message is coming from here. And so let me show you another workflow, and then I'll show you how this stuff connects. So we will run it over here, and this time around we will say, "What is Bill Gates' email?" Right? So we say, what is Bill Gates' email? It's going to trigger this automation, and then it's going to have this get task instruction. Run when get email instructions. Only run when both full name and whatever, right? And this would be the response. We don't have Bill Gates' name, and so these tools are only going to be uh, triggered when all of the conditions that we have determined are set up. Like as you could see, nothing actually ran over here. But when we do provide Bill Gates' email, so let's say afonto.com is Bill Gates' email, and then we do run once over here, afonto.com. Now it's going to run and trigger this particular automation. Oh, you know what this is? This is, I also need Bill Gates. This is the memory. This is the memory thing that I was talking about. We actually had ours. So if we were to refresh the page over here, this is why this stuff matters, right? This is why this stuff matters. We only have the iteration history count to 1. And so if we actually switch it to 10, it would be able to remember this information. And so Bill Gates' full name, I need Bill Gates' full name in order to retrieve his email address. So boom, we do it again, and then this time around it should remember Bill Gates is at Afonto, and so boom, it runs, and now it's triggering this automation. And so when we look at this, it's going to say Bill Gates' email address is billgates at afonto.com. And so you've just seen how the memory stuff works in play, and how these are triggering different automations, right? And so when we go into Lead Magic found used the Bill Gates name and looked up Afonto, and then it outputted that this is Bill Gates' email. That's a catch-all, right? And obviously we can add some nuanced stuff to it. And so that's how this stuff is working. And by the way, this is the exact same thing. This one is basically just getting the trigger and then looking up all of these things and then sending the information back to the agent. And then the agent is looking at all of that information and then summarizing it as a response back for us. And then we can ask it anything else, right? We could be like, what is Bill Gates' email? LinkedIn. I actually don't know the answer to this, right? And this is where you would have to play around with this stuff. What is Bill Gates' LinkedIn? Bill Gates' LinkedIn can be found at company Afonto. Boom, boom, boom. So it's not like you would actually have to play around with it. But based on what we had said that Bill Gates works at Afonto, this would be accurate, right? And so, okay, what I was about to say is, how do these connections work? How these connections are working is we're using an input and an output. And so in this particular case, when we're asking for the daily tasks, we don't actually need an input because we just want to know the tasks. And so what we're actually looking for is the output. And so these outputs, scenario outputs, this is what's going to go back to the agent, right? And so we basically just added them here. Like this is the name of what we need. Like this is deactivated accounts. This is client onboarding. So these are the outputs, right? So let's go here. The thing we're going to need is going to be this module over here. It's going to be called scenarios, and in the scenarios, we want to get return output, right? So return output is what we're going to be looking for. And in that return output, we're basically going to be mapping the fields. So the fields that we set up at the very bottom over here, scenarios output, these fields are what we're going to be inputting here. And so we can map the results, we can map the whatever. All of that stuff is going to be mapped this way, right? And this is how we're doing it for every single agent. And so this one that's getting the full name, email address, LinkedIn, all of this stuff, we can even add the website. Actually, this is great. Yeah, this is how we output the information. But this, in this particular situation, we're telling the agent to use the full name. So we're basically giving it the message. So here's the message text, and that message is going to have the full name. So when I say, what is Bill Gates' email, this is the full name, right? It's going to take it from there. But in order for the AI to structure it for us, we're going to actually need to set up scenario inputs. And so these scenario inputs is what the AI is going to map those fields to for this automation, right? And so this is how we put the full name. And so we basically just put full name over here, and then we put the website over here. And so when we say what is Bill Gates' email, it's going to essentially you find the email, but it's going to take the full name from the text and take the website from the text and then map it to this other automation as a scenario input, right? So you need this scenario input. And then when we go into something like uh, uh, yeah, actually, like this, for example, we have the full name accessible to us from the input. By the way, to access that, you need to click on this section over here, and then you can see scenario inputs, full name, website. These are going to come from the agent itself. Now, what you guys have been waiting for. I hope that was all clear. Why am I not going to be using this? The reason I'm not going to be using this is it actually just requires so much more. Um, the benefits of having the agent are essentially that it could be very flexible, adaptable, and take into account all sorts of different things. Like I was just asking, like, what tasks can it help me do? And every single one of the tasks that I looked at, I would be able to automate without an agent, right? And so the agent seemed to add complexity without adding much benefit. And the benefit that it would be able to have, like this type of chat, for example, where we're able to retrieve tasks, able to retrieve emails, able to modify things and do all of those different things. The benefit of this, I feel like, is much easier solved from structured systems. And so, for example, what is Bill Gates' email, right? So if I wanted to figure out what is Bill Gates' email, rather than asking this AI to do it, I can actually just have a system that's always accessible to me. And so this is actually going to trigger the same type of thing to find Bill Gates' email at Afonto. But you notice how much simpler it is. I don't have to say what is Bill Gates' email, and then it tells me that I need to have a website, and then it tells me XYZ. We don't need to do all of these different things. We just ask for the email because we already know the email is here, and then it gives it to us. What are my tasks? It's over here. Like, it's that much easier. Like, and this is the quick part, right? If we're gonna be talking about speed, like, look at how much faster it is to just get this stuff in an extension. By the way, you don't need an extension. You can use forms, right? You could use like forms accessible somewhere. You could use project management dashboards. You can do all of these different things so much faster. But like, uh, create a lead magnet for a company. I might as well just do it like in a structured format, because ultimately everything that I'm going to be asking here is going to have back end structures, right? From the front end, it looks unstructured, but on the back end, it's actually structured, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to ask it some random stuff over here and then get an output that I actually want. So structure is going to be there regardless, so you might as well build it